The room smelled like old paper and coffee. I stood there, hands shaking, staring at my mother like I didn't know her anymore. She agreed to it, my cousin Daniel said, loud enough for everyone to hear. She signed everything. My head snapped toward him. That's a lie. My mother didn't even look at me. She just adjusted her purse like I wasn't standing 5 feet away. Like I wasn't even there. Like I hadn't just lost everything my father left behind. The judge glanced at the papers in front of him. His face showed nothing. No sympathy, no curiosity, just tired routine. Miss Carter, your signature is on the transfer documents. My chest tightened. I could barely breathe. I never signed those. A few people in the courtroom shifted in their seats. Someone whispered something I couldn't hear. I felt it all pressing down on me at once. Judgment, doubt, humiliation. Daniel smirked. Actually smirked. Maybe you forgot. It happens. I stepped forward, my voice louder than I meant it to be. You stole it. All of it. My mother finally spoke. Her voice was cold, flat, empty. Emily, stop making a scene. That hit harder than anything else. Harder than the lies. Harder than the fake documents. Harder than losing the house. My father had been gone for 6 months. Just 6 months. And now, everything he left me, his house, his savings, even his watch, was suddenly, legally, Daniel's. I looked at the judge again. My throat burned. This isn't right. He sighed, like he'd seen this 100 times before. Like I was just another case, another problem, another disappointed daughter who didn't read the fine print. If there's no proof of fraud, the court must honor the documents. My throat burned worse. I wanted to scream. I wanted to grab those papers and rip them apart. Instead, I just whispered, "There is proof." But I didn't have it. Not yet. The judge nodded toward the clerk. "Proceed." That's when Daniel leaned closer to me. Close enough that only I could hear him. His voice was low, smug. "You should have paid more attention." And in that moment, something inside me broke, just cracked wide open. But something else woke up too, something sharper, angrier, stronger. I didn't know it yet, but that moment changed everything. If you've ever felt betrayed by family, stay with me. Because this wasn't the end, it was just the beginning. I didn't cry in the courtroom, not when my mother avoided my eyes, not when Daniel walked out smiling like he'd just won the lottery, not even when I realized I had nothing left. I waited until I got to my car. Then my hands started shaking so badly I couldn't even put the key in the ignition. I tried 3 times, missed every time. I sat there, staring at the steering wheel, replaying everything in my head. Every word, every look, every second of that humiliation. How did this happen? I trusted them. That was my first mistake. My father always said, "Keep your eyes open, Em. Not everyone plays fair." I thought he meant strangers, people outside the family, people we didn't know. I never thought he meant them. I leaned my forehead against the wheel and finally let the tears come. Silent at first, just hot streams running down my face, then heavier, harder. My chest hurt. My stomach twisted into knots. I felt stupid, weak, naive. But under all that pain, under all that shame, there was something else. A question. Why would my dad leave everything to Daniel? It didn't make sense, not even a little. My dad and I were close. We talked every week. He told me things. He trusted me. He always said I was the one who understood him. So why would he give everything to Daniel? A cousin he saw maybe twice a year? A guy he barely knew? I wiped my face with the back of my hand and sat up. My reflection in the rearview mirror looked different. Not broken, just tired, worn down, but awake. Something was wrong. I could feel it deep in my bones. And deep down, I knew it. I knew this wasn't over. It didn't happen all at once. Looking back now, the signs were there. I just ignored them. 3 months before my dad passed, Daniel started showing up more. At the house. At the hospital. Sitting beside my mom in waiting rooms. He said he wanted to help. He started handling paperwork, talking to lawyers, acting like the responsible one, the grown-up. I was busy. Work was crazy. Bills were piling up. I was visiting my dad every other day, watching him fade a little more each time. So when Daniel stepped in, I thought he was being kind. I thought he cared. I was wrong. Then my mom started asking strange questions. Did your father ever mention changing the will? I said no, because he didn't. But she kept asking, over and over, like she was testing me, like she already knew something I didn't. Then there was that one night. I walked into the kitchen and heard them talking, Daniel and my mom. Their voices were low, serious. He won't notice, Daniel said. My mom whispered back, this feels wrong. Then, silence. When they saw me standing there, they smiled. Too quickly, too brightly. Oh, Emily, we were just talking about dinner, my mom said. I didn't believe her. But I didn't push it either. I should have asked more questions. I should have demanded answers. Instead, I trusted them. After my dad died, everything moved fast. Too fast. Paperwork, legal meetings, Daniel and my mom organizing everything, making decisions. Sign here, Emily. Initial this. Just routine. I remember holding a pen one afternoon, staring at a document I didn't fully understand. The words blurred together. I was exhausted. Grief sat heavy on my chest. Just routine, Daniel said again. He sounded so calm, so sure. I signed it. That was my biggest mistake. Now I wondered, sitting in my apartment with old papers spread across the table, what exactly did I sign? What did I give away without even knowing it? I sat at my kitchen table for hours, surrounded by papers I barely understood, legal terms, clauses, signatures I didn't remember making. What if they were right? What if I really did sign it? The thought made me sick. My stomach turned, my head pounded. Maybe I missed something. Maybe I wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was too sad, too tired, too broken to see what was happening. I replayed that moment again and again. The pen in my hand, the paper in front of me, Daniel standing nearby watching me. Something felt off, even then. But I ignored it, because I trusted him. I trusted both of them. Now that trust felt like a trap. I grabbed my phone and almost called my mom. My thumb hovered over her name. Almost. But I stopped. Because deep down, I knew she wouldn't tell me the truth. She'd twist it, make me feel crazy, make me feel like I was overreacting. She was good at that. My chest tightened again. That familiar ache, that pressure. What if I fought this and lost? What if I made everything worse? What if I ended up looking like a fool in front of everyone? I sat there for a long time, doing nothing, just staring, just thinking. Then I whispered to myself, barely loud enough to hear, no. I wasn't crazy. Something was wrong. I knew it. And I wasn't going to let them make me doubt myself anymore. If you were in my place, would you walk away or fight? Because what I did next changed everything. I started small. I went back to the lawyer's office, the same one Daniel used. I asked for copies of everything, every document, every signature, every single page. The receptionist looked annoyed, but she printed them anyway. That's where I met Lisa. She was sharp, direct, the kind of person who didn't sugarcoat anything. She looked at me like she could see right through me. You signed this, she said, pointing to the document with my name at the bottom. I know what it looks like, I said. My voice was steadier than I expected. But I didn't agree to this. She studied me for a second. Her eyes were dark, calculating. Then prove it. That stung. I don't have proof. Then you don't have a case. I almost walked out. I almost gave up right there. But something about her tone stopped me. It wasn't cruel. It was real. Unless, she added, leaning back in her chair, you can show fraud. That word stuck. Fraud. I started digging. Emails, old messages, bank records, anything I could find. I went through my dad's things, his laptop, his desk, his filing cabinet. Late nights turned into early mornings. Coffee became my best friend. My eyes burned. My back ached. I found small things, strange transfers, missing details, dates that didn't match up. But nothing strong enough. Nothing that would stand up in court. Then Lisa called me one night. It was late, almost 11. Emily, she said, her voice different, tense. I found something. My heart started racing. What? There was an audio file attached to your father's original will submission. I froze. The room spun. What? It's labeled private. It wasn't included in the final document submitted to the court. Why not? My voice cracked. I don't know, she said slowly, but you need to hear it. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't, because for the first time in months, I felt it again. Hope. We tried to access the file the next morning. It was gone. Deleted. My stomach dropped like I'd just fallen off a cliff. Someone removed it, Lisa said quietly. She stared at the screen, her jaw tight. Who? I asked, but my voice barely came out. She didn't answer right away. She didn't need to. We both knew. Daniel. My hands went cold. My whole body went numb. That was my proof, I whispered. Maybe, she said, or maybe it's still somewhere. But hope felt far away now, like something I'd imagined. I sat there staring at the empty file directory on her computer screen, just blank space where the truth should have been. For a moment, I almost gave up. Right there. Right then. Maybe they were right. Maybe I lost. Maybe this was always going to end this way. But then Lisa leaned forward, her eyes locked on mine. People who hide things usually make mistakes, she said. And if your father recorded something, he wanted it found. That was the first time I felt it again. Hope. Small, fragile, but real. We pushed harder. Lisa filed a motion, requested deeper access to records, subpoenaed the law firm's backup servers. She moved fast. Like she was angry now, too. Daniel didn't like that. He showed up at my apartment unannounced 2 days later. I opened the door and there he was, standing in the hallway, hands in his pockets, smiling like we were old friends. You need to stop, he said. I stepped back. My heart pounded. Or what? He smiled, but it wasn't friendly. It was cold, empty. You'll regret it. That scared me more than I wanted to admit. For the first time, I wondered if I was going too far. If I was putting myself in danger. What if this ruined everything? What if he did something worse? But then I thought about my dad, about his voice, about the recording someone tried to erase, and I knew I couldn't stop. The court agreed to review additional evidence. We had one last hearing scheduled, one final chance. If we failed, it was over. Lisa warned me the night before. They're going to fight hard tomorrow, be ready. I nodded, but inside I was terrified. Because I knew this was it. Everything came down to tomorrow. The courtroom was quieter this time, tense, waiting. Lisa stood beside me, calm, focused. She had a small leather bag in her hand. We have new evidence, she said. Daniel shifted in his seat. My mother looked nervous for the first time. Her hands twisted together in her lap. Lisa handed something to the clerk, a small flash drive. We recovered a backup copy, she said. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear anything else. My hands were shaking again, but this time it wasn't fear. It was something else. The judge nodded. Play it. The room went silent. Then, my father's voice filled the air. Clear, strong, undeniable. If you're hearing this, it means something went wrong. I froze. Tears filled my eyes instantly. I couldn't stop them. It was him. Really him. I wanted on record, everything goes to my daughter Emily, no one else. A pause. I could hear him breathing. I could almost see him sitting there recording this, protecting me even after he was gone. And if anyone tries to change that, they're lying. The room didn't move, didn't breathe. I looked at my mother. Her face had gone pale, white as paper, her lips pressed into a thin line. Daniel stared at the floor, his jaw clenched, his hands gripped the armrests of his chair. No words, just silence, heavy, crushing. The judge leaned forward slowly. He took off his glasses, rubbed his eyes, then looked directly at Daniel. Mr. Daniel Carter, do you have anything to say? Daniel didn't answer. He didn't look up, because there was nothing left to say. The truth was right there, in the air, in my father's voice, in the silence that followed. The judge cleared his throat. Based on this evidence, I'm ordering a full review of all documents submitted in this case. The previous ruling is suspended pending investigation. He looked at me. His expression softened just a little. Miss Carter, I apologize for what you've been through. I nodded. I couldn't speak. My throat was too tight. Lisa put her hand on my shoulder. She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. We won. It ended quietly. No shouting, no drama, just a decision. 2 weeks later, the inheritance was returned to me. Every part of it. The house, the savings, everything. My mother tried to talk to me after the final hearing. She waited by my car. Her eyes were red. She looked smaller somehow. Emily, I didn't stop walking. I didn't yell either. I just walked past her, got in my car, and drove away. Because some things don't need closure. They just need distance. Daniel never apologized. He didn't even show up to the last hearing. I heard he moved out of state. I didn't care where. I stood in my father's house a week later. Empty. Still. Peaceful. The afternoon light came through the windows. It smelled like wood and old books. Like him. I walked through the rooms slowly, touching the walls, the furniture, the things he loved, and I finally felt it. Not victory, not revenge, just truth. And that was enough. I sat in his favorite chair, the one by the window, and I whispered, "Thank you, Dad." He couldn't hear me, I knew that, but I said it anyway, because he fought for me, even when he was gone, even when I didn't know it. He made sure the truth would come out. And now I understood. The truth doesn't always fight loud. It doesn't always win fast. Sometimes it waits, quiet, patient, until the right moment. If this story hit you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Because sometimes the truth doesn't shout, it waits.